Okay, Repco Bathurst 1000, Armour All qualifying complete.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Time to get into the press conference here on Friday, and Cam Waters topping the times. Very tricky conditions out there. Very cool to see Lee Holdsworth here as well, doing an awesome job. And Chaz Mostert inside the top 3 spots as well. We'll start with Cam. Just how tough was that session, Cam, and how much did the track evolve over the course of that 40 minutes?
It was a lot better than what practice was, so a lot less rivers down the straights, and over the top was, a lot more grip. There was still a couple, like Exeter 1, the curb off 1 was quite bad, and even the kink at the chase. But the rest of the lap was actually not that bad.
Did it feel like it was getting faster and faster, or did the rains sort of at the end limit where it was at?
It got faster to a point, and then the rivers kind of got worse, so that kind of slowed us back down a little bit. But it was pretty constant, consistent, which was nice. In those conditions, you never know what's going to happen, if it's going to rain or keep drying out. And, it's easy to get, caught off guard and, with higher tyre pressures or catch lap cars or a red. So just had to keep doing bankers and that's what we did.
Pulling out a lap like that with back-to-back push laps, is that easier than trying to do it tomorrow in a shootout scenario, not being able to build tyre temps and pressures up?
100%. So, it's taken a few laps for the tyres to come up. So tomorrow, if it is wet, it will be a little bit more challenging. But, I'll be, the last car, which will be good. I'll get to see what all the other guys, how they're going and what the track grip is like. Hopefully it doesn't rain, more at the end or whatever. Those kind of conditions are a little bit hard for a shootout. But it is what it is. It's awesome to make it and, be quickest in that session.
I'll get a word off Moff as well while we're chatting to the 2 guys on top. Moff, your thoughts from the bunker watching Cam just do his craft?
Oh, look, to be honest, he drove fantastically well, and so did everybody else in the field, for there to be no red flag in those conditions. The guys definitely earned their money this afternoon. So it's one of those sessions which wasn't too bad to watch it from the garage.
How much have you guys been tuning car 6 across the course of the week so far, and how difficult has that been? Wet, dry, wet?
Look, certainly probably like anybody in pit lane, we've been definitely tuning it. Had a bit of work to do overnight, and we feel like we made some gains with the car in the dry this morning before the rain came, and clearly the car has got some good speed in the wet conditions as well. So that's probably what we're going to be faced with, changeable conditions on Sunday, so it's good to have a solid car.
Nice job, mate. Enjoy the shootout tomorrow. We'll take it over to Lee. Fabulous job. How good did that lap feel? And were you expecting to see a lap time as good as putting it inside the top 3?
I took a long time to get up to speed, to be honest. In that session at the start, I was struggling to get a rhythm, and it was a bit wetter at the start, and then it started drying out, started to find some good lines, and then that sort of got a bit of a rhythm, and then gathered some confidence and was just able to push every lap and then find a little bit more here and there, and had a couple of moments, nearly turned the car into a pancake a couple of times. But stoked to. I was going to be stoked whether I got in the top 10. I didn't really care where I was going to be, but to be P2, I was over the moon.
Your last 3 years include topping this session 2 years ago, winning Bathurst last year, and now putting it in the shootout in your final year. It's been an awesome run home these last few years at Bathurst for you.
Yeah, it has. I don't know what we've done with the car, but it's just come alive this weekend. Obviously, I love this place. But yeah, in the wet, the Penrite cars have generally been, pretty quick. We had a lot of fogging issues in practice 4, so I couldn't really see where the tram tracks were, so I didn't have a lot of confidence in it. But they fixed all that, and it's great that we had those conditions because we didn't want that issue on Sunday, of course. So I think we've rectified a few of those problems that could have faced on Sunday. But yeah, stoked. Matt's been doing a great job. He's been running Super 2, so he's been getting some practice in the wet. He's been quick in our car, so looking forward to doing the top 10 shootout tomorrow and then having a good run on Sunday.
When you roll out a pit exit tomorrow for that shootout lap, knowing it's going to be the last time you get to do that here at the mountain, what do you expect that feeling to be like?
I don't know. I don't want to let the emotions get in the way, but it's obviously really cool to be here for my final year as a main driver and get in the top 10 shootout. And I'm going to lap it up. I'm going to enjoy every moment of having the whole track to myself for one one lap and put it all on the line. It'd be great if it was dry so we could put a set of slicks on, but I think it's going to be something like this. And if it is, we'll all still be putting it all on the line for that one lap. And it'll be a memory that I'll take with me forever.
Enjoy it, mate. That's
Thanks.
super cool to see. Chaz, nice job. Just love your thoughts on how your team is tracking until this point. It's been such a different year to last year in so many ways.
Yeah, it was, for me, this session was actually a lot of fun right there towards the end, and hearing in the battle with these two for provisional pole was pushing me on pretty hard out there, and I think I was pretty close to maybe getting one last lap in, but I found a bit of trouble down there at Chase with a couple of the cars. So, I love the battle. I think that the track was a lot of fun. Like Cam said, there was a few rivers, but the rivers actually weren't in too bad a spots. The one at the kink at the Chase has been pretty sketchy, but I'd say that session it kind of wasn't too bad. Out of turn one, the water running across there is unreal. So it's but everywhere else in the more I would say more dangerous spots, actually it tracks in pretty good nick with the way the water flows off. So that session was a lot of fun. It was drying and then got a little bit wet. How it's been tracking this weekend, it's been pretty crazy, to be honest. I mean, who knows what the weather has in store for us for the rest. All the weather forecasts have been completely wrong when it has been coming and when it's going to be staying and doing all kind of things. So it's going to test out all the teams, drivers, we're just going to have to battle on. But yeah, it's definitely not like last year.
What's it like having Zach here?
Yeah, it's super cool. It's I think it's really good for our team. You see all the guys and girls in the team that they know the owners of the team, but they don't get to spend too much time with them. So for him to make that effort coming from his last Formula One race, crazy time zones, it just shows how committed he is to racing here in Australia in supercars. So it's pretty cool.
And finally from me, how difficult is it going to be to do a lap tomorrow if it's like this, knowing exactly what Cam said, not being able to build up to it, but just go out there and go bang, first time?
It'd be tough, but the guys beside me are on the big bucks, so I'm sure they'll wheel it, and then I'll try and wheel it as well.
Okay, mate. Good luck tomorrow. We've got a microphone to pass around to the journos in the room. We'll take some questions.
Danny McCartney, Wide World of Sports. Lee, I'll start with you. You said to me last week that you were putting your big boy pants on and getting a job back in the real world. You've continue to have such strong results here. Does this tempt you to stay on the grid and go around again next year?
It's obviously pretty fun to be up the front, but no, I've made my call, and I don't want to dwindle away and just be running down the back and then retire. I want to be competitive and step out at a good time, which I think is now.
Just 1 second, guys. I just need to clear Cam because he's got some TV commitments. So, Cam, you are taking an early mark today, mate.
See you, mate.
He's got a note from his doctor. It's all right. We'll continue the questions. Thank you.
Sophie McCaffin, National Radio News. Question for you, Lee. You jumped a couple of spots there towards the end to claim that second spot. I guess tomorrow with the top 10 shootout, that fog's really coming in thick at the top of the mount. How are you guys going to have to navigate around that when you're doing that one lap?
I would just drive straight through it, I think. I don't know. We don't know what we're going to have. We'll just have to wait and see. If it's too bad, obviously we won't run. I think you've got to see from flag point to flag point. The Super 2 guys had pretty bad conditions up there. I don't know what it looked like for you, Matt, but from here we couldn't see the top of the mountain. But for us, I don't know whether it was still up there when we were there, but it didn't seem too bad. So, I don't think it'll affect us too much. I mean, if it's too bad, we won't run.
Last call. Paul.
Paul Gover from Drive these days. Change job again. It's a co-driver question for each of the three of you. It's all great that we're sitting here hearing about the Hero hot laps with the A drivers. What are your cars like to drive, and how's your preparation work here in these sort of weather conditions? Particularly you, Fab. You've got a fair bit of experience, Fabs. Is it pretty ugly?
It's much more stressful being in the garage, I think. Jazz did an awesome job and quali, but for me,
you know, we go out there and do the best job we can. And, you know, I've done a lot of laps around this place. I think the first time I did laps around here was in the early 2000s. So it's just good to get out in a competitive car. So the weather's the weather. It's the same for everybody. And we just got to maximise the package that we have.
Mr. Payne, how does it feel as a rookie being at qualifying, starting at P3? And can you tell me a bit about how the build-up has been to that moment of knowing you guys are going to be starting on the second row?
Yeah, obviously it's been pretty busy with, just working on everything. And, Lee's done an awesome job today to put us up the grid for the top 10 shootout tomorrow. But, yeah, I mean, it's obviously been hard work, but I think we've sort of prepared as well as we can for this weekend. And, it's looking pretty good so far.
I might, if I can, Moff, just get a comment from you about driving in those conditions earlier and exactly what Fabian was talking about a moment ago, what it's like being in the garage for one and what it's like being in the car for two.
Yeah, like I agree with Fabs. Like that session was it was tense because you could see that the track was drying and you just sort of that the conditions are getting better and better and you don't want to miss out being in the shootout. So yeah, fortunately for us, Cam was competitive the whole time. Every time he was putting a lap in, he was basically going straight back to the top. So it was just about phasing your run and being on the track at the right time. So yeah, and the conditions are the conditions. You just got to drive to them, really. Silly as that sounds. It was good to experience what the car is like in the wet. I haven't driven the Mustang around here in wet conditions, so it's pretty stable across the top, which is nice. So yeah, this morning in practice 4 got a few laps and then Cam took over and hogged it for the rest of the day.
Thanks, mate. We've had a bit of a running theme leading up to this year, Chaz, about you and Lee sharing the victory last year, but now obviously being in opposing cars. I would love to know your thoughts on seeing Lee stick it in the shootout one last time as well.
Yeah, it's pretty good for an old fella like Lee, so it's really good to see.
Doing it for the dads.
I was actually sitting up here before the start of press and I thought there's only one driver on this whole panel I haven't co-driven with. So it's I feel like all these guys have taught me everything, or a lot of bad habits and good habits. Yeah, thanks guys for putting up with me and driving with me over all these years.
Guys, thanks for your time.
Especially you, Lee.
Best of luck with your weekend. That was one of the more unusual presses we've had, but appreciate your time, guys. Well done.